Hey everyone, let's talk about something that most business owners kind of dread, payroll. We usually think of it as just a chore, right? Another box to tick. But what if it could actually be your secret weapon for growth? Seriously, we're going to dig into how outsourcing your payroll isn't just about cutting checks, it's about unlocking what your business is truly capable of.
So let me just ask you, straight up, as a business owner, does payroll ever feel like an anchor? You're trying to push forward, innovate, and grow, but this one task is always there, pulling you back down into the administrative weeds.
If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. These are the pain points we hear about all the time. Payroll is just exhausting and it eats up so much time. The risk of one tiny error is huge, and those errors can lead to some seriously costly penalties. And don't even get me started on the regulations. They're complex, they're always changing, and it all just distracts you from what you're actually supposed to be doing, growing your business.
But here's the good news. There is a really powerful way to flip the script. Let's stop looking at this as a problem and start seeing it as an opportunity. It's time to think about outsourcing not as just offloading a task, but as gaining a true strategic partner who's there to help you get your focus back.
So what does that actually mean? Well, outsourced payroll is really a partnership. You bring in a third-party expert, and they take over all that complicated stuff, employee pay, tax compliance, all the admin that goes with it. The key here is that they become an extension of your team, and their whole job is to get this stuff right so you don't have to.
And here's the thing you have to understand. Modern payroll services are so much more than just calculating paychecks. We're talking about a whole suite of services that can honestly transform your entire HR operation, from managing benefits to reporting and a whole lot more.
Let's break down the big three benefits, because this is where it gets really good. First up, time savings. And I'm not talking about just getting a few hours back. We're talking about freeing up your entire team to focus on the things that actually add value. Next, cost savings. Think about it. You don't need dedicated payroll staff. You don't need to pay for expensive software licenses. This can have a massive impact on your ROI. And finally, and this one is huge, compliance and accuracy. You get experts who live and breathe this stuff, which basically wipes out the risk of costly errors and penalties.
Okay, so how does this all work in the real world? What does it actually look like when you bring a payroll partner on board? Let's take a peek behind the curtain.
Well, the scoop of services is pretty amazing. You've got the basics, of course, like salary and tax calculations, but it also includes things like managing benefits, handling all the HR paperwork and reporting, and even setting up self-service portals so your employees can access their own info. It really is a complete all-in-one system. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like a huge hassle to set up, right? Actually, it's a really smooth, structured process. It all starts with a clear service agreement. Then comes this key step called rebadging. That sounds complicated, but it just means the provider handles all the communication and paperwork to get your employees onboarded to their system. After that, it's all them. They manage everything day to day. Okay, this is a really important point. Outsourcing is not a one-size-fits-all deal. There are different models out there, and you've got to understand them to pick the one that's the absolute perfect fit for your business. Before we compare the models, we have to talk about one key concept, co-employment. Basically, it's a legal relationship where a provider, called a professional employer organization, or PEO, becomes the official employer of record for stuff like taxes and compliance. But, and this is the most critical part, you, the business owner, still run the show. You keep 100% control over your team's day-to-day work. All right, so let's put these models side by side. On one side, you've got HRO or ASO. Think of this as your a la carte option. You pick and choose exactly what you want to outsource. Maybe it's just payroll. This gives you a ton of flexibility. On the other side is the PEO model we just talked about, with that co-employment relationship. This is the full-service partner. And the huge, game-changing advantage here is that because you're part of their larger group, you can offer your team access to way better benefits at better rates. That is a massive competitive edge for attracting and keeping the best people. So it really comes down to what you need: targeted help or a full strategic partnership. So let's just pull back for a second and look at the big picture. When you strip away all the details and all the jargon, what is this really all about? It's about one thing: getting the freedom and the focus you need to grow your business. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? You're not just getting rid of a task. You're gaining a partner, one who helps you streamline how you operate, and most importantly, helps you align your people with your biggest business goals. And you can literally see the ripple effect on your bottom line. When those administrative costs go down, team productivity goes up,
And when your team is more productive, well, that gives you more time, more energy, and more resources to put toward what really truly matters, focusing on growth.
So I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. Just take a second and really imagine it. If you could take every single hour your team spends worrying about payroll, administration, and compliance, and just get all of that time back, what could you achieve? What new product could you launch? What new market could you enter? What could you build?